Always appreciate the time of Missouri U.S. Senator Josh Hawley joining us on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. We are always streaming on the KCMO Talk Radio app. Senator, good morning. Great to have you here. We appreciate your time. And I did want to start off with obviously what has been the global topic of the week. We have local ties to the men and women who came out of Whiteman Air Force Base and made those strikes on the Iranian nuclear facilities. I had not seen anything yet from you publicly or on social media on those folks. So what would your message be to those individuals, of course, right down the road from us here in Kansas City?
Oh, they were just amazing. Thanks for having me, by the way. It's great to be with you. They just did an amazing job. We salute their terrific service. They performed their duty with distinction. All of our servicemen and women who were involved over the weekend, obviously, just performed tremendously. And I think, as I said the other day, I think the fact the president has been able to get a ceasefire and achieve some stability here in the last 48, well, I guess now it's been three days, 72 hours or so, is a real credit to him. And I think it's hilarious the Democrats now want to impeach the guy for bringing peace to the Middle East. What next? It's been a really good week for him.
Okay, so with the Iranian strikes in general, you've seen kind of some of the infighting on the right side of the political aisle on this. But in the wake of what's happened the last couple of days, how would you review what took place on Saturday and what it means for potentially peace or more peace in the Middle East?
Well, I think the ceasefire is a big deal. The Israeli ambassador actually was just in to see all the Republican senators yesterday. He was thanking the United States for standing by Israel, was saying that they hope that the ceasefire will hold. I think the next thing that's got to happen, Pete, is we've got to get to a place going forward where we keep Iran in its box, where we deny them, of course, the ability to reconstitute any kind of a nuclear program. We've got to do that while we also reduce our overall troop presence and military presence in the region. Our long-term goal here, it needs to be our short to medium-term goal as well, is to have less military presence in that region, not more. And I think what the president's been able to achieve here with the ceasefire, and really, having a strong Israel is absolutely key to that. Israel's got to be very strong in that region, or else we'll be stuck there forever. So I think our goal has got to be make sure the ceasefire holds, get some sustainable deterrence on Iran, and then be able to draw down our forces and our presence, which frankly is needed elsewhere, like the southern border, and not to mention China.
So is it more just relying on Israel even more, or are there other potential allies you could see being basically our watchdogs in that part of the world?
Well, we need all of our allies there in the region to step up. This is where the president's in a good position now to drive a hard bargain. Obviously, Israel is doing its part, and this is an existential threat to them, so they will always be watchful and mindful. But, we need the Saudis to step up and do more. We need them to be a constructive force as they were in Trump's first term. I just think of the Abraham Accords. We need to get back to that path. The Israeli ambassador was talking about this yesterday, and he's right. We need to get back on the path of bringing the other partners in the region to recognize Israel, to, at least implicitly work with Israel to keep Iran isolated, to keep them from breaking out with the nuclear program or anything else. So I think the Saudis are going to play a big part here. And as I say, the president's really in a position of strength now to drive a hard bargain, and I hope that he will.
Josh Hawley is joining us on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. I know that you spoke to the president yesterday as well about NATO funding. That was a big part of his trip overseas. Just in terms of looking at the world as it is currently, Senator Hawley, and the fact that a lot of these countries were not chipping into NATO like they were obligated to, what does this mean for the United States and how maybe we are able to, I don't want to say pull back, but just reassess how much energy, time, focus, and money we are putting in to being basically the world's policeman?
Yeah, this is a huge point, and this is the point I've been trying to make with the Middle East. Our goal has got to be to stop being the world's policeman, and that includes Europe. In many ways, it begins with Europe. And the Europeans have been sandbagging for years. They can spend much more on their defense than they do. And Germany is the leading example of that. But it's true of all of them. France, United Kingdom. These are very advanced countries. These are not exactly poor countries. They can spend on their own defense. They're not doing it. The president, I know, went over there, delivered the message. Listen, guys, you've basically got, each of you has to double your defense spending so you can defend yourself. and stop relying on the United States to do literally everything. I mean, sometimes these guys can't blow their nose without the United States holding the tissue. I mean, it's really getting to be ridiculous. So they have to step up and do more. We need to deliver that same message across the Middle East. We've got to think about what our priorities are. Our southern border. Well, right now, we've got a lot of military on our southern border. I think folks don't realize how precarious that situation is. The president has done a phenomenal job, but he's holding it together with twisty ties in many ways. I mean, he's had to retask various units, law enforcement, military. We've got to get that under control. And then, of course, if you talk about overseas, our biggest long-term threat overseas is China. We've got to make sure that they don't try to challenge us, that they don't disrupt our economy any more than they're already doing. They don't become more imperial than they already are in terms of the Indo-Pacific and their aggression. So a lot of challenges, Pete. The Europeans need to do a heck of a lot more.
Senator, what about the big, beautiful bill, as it has been dubbed? You brought up some critiques of that, of course, over the last couple of weeks, especially on the Medicaid cuts thing. Take me through, your angle here, because a lot of Republicans are saying, we're not cutting Medicaid. We're just trying to cut out the waste, fraud, and abuse. But as far as I can tell, you seem to view that differently. So what are your concerns on that?
Well, I'm fine with cutting out waste, fraud, and abuse out of Medicaid. I mean, listen, you've got a lot of people, illegals. The Congressional Budget Office, which is really a liberal outfit, estimates that there are at least 1.5 million illegals on Medicaid. So all of those people need to come off. I mean, all of the fraud needs to stop. People need to be working. If you're on Medicaid and you can work and you're not, you should be. I think all of that is great. I mean, that's all. I think everybody agrees on that. My concern has been not with what the president negotiated in the House. In the Senate side, the Senate has come up with a new series of proposals, different from what the president had proposed and what had passed the House, that would cut rural hospitals. Now, Pete, half of our hospitals in Missouri are rural, and I don't want to see hospitals close in Missouri. The president doesn't want to see hospitals close. I just talked to him about it again last night, and his message was the Senate needs to quit screwing around with this bill, get back to what the House did, and get this thing passed. And I think that's 100% correct. I mean, listen, it's almost July. This should have been done months ago, I believe. So let's get this done. And I just think with the Senate, this bill is not getting better as it sits out there. It's getting worse. People are screwing around with it. They're trying to add Green New Deal subsidies back into this bill. Horrible. Why would we be funding any Green New Deal subsidies? So my message is, let's get back to what the president negotiated with the House, and let's pass this thing. I mean, let's get this thing to his desk.
I mean, you guys have control of the Senate, so who's possibly trying to get Green New Deal subsidies back into the bill?
Oh, well, all of the senators who have donors who are interested in it. I mean, everybody talks a good game on television, but then you look and see what do people actually do, and you've got lots of senators who want to see billions and billions of dollars of those Green New scam, as the president calls it, the Green New scam subsidies, because they've got donors who are saying, well, wait a minute. I've got some interest in this. They've got hedge funds that have invested in it. Why we would spend $1 on any Green New Deal subsidy is totally beyond me. I mean, I just think it's ridiculous. And you add that all up, it is hundreds of billions of dollars in spending. All of that needs to be cut out.
And just to be clear, you're saying that there are Republicans in that camp as well.
Oh, there's all Republicans. Democrats don't matter for this exercise. Yeah. I mean, only Republicans are going to pass the bill. So, yeah, this is all Republicans doing this. But, listen, we have an ongoing fight in this party, Pete, between the corporatist wing of the party that loves these giveaways to banks and Wall Street and to the donor class and is secretly fine with all of this stuff, versus the Donald Trump wing of the party, which is who won the election. So my message is constantly, why don't stick with the guy who won the popular vote? Just a suggestion, but I think maybe we'd want to go with what he ran on, what he promised the American people. Let's deliver on that.
So I saw that the president said basically he doesn't want anyone going home until this thing is on his desk by Independence Day next week. What would you put the odds at, Senator Hawley, that thing is actually on his desk by next week?
I think it's totally doable if the Senate will get it into gear. We need to get this. We need to quit fiddling around with it, and we need to pass it. And if we do that in the next couple of days, then I'm sure the House can pass it. Today's Thursday. So if we pass it in the next few days, the House can pass it next week on their side, and then that'd be it.
Okay.
So, it's not as hard as it sounds.
It never is, but it seems like it always gets more complicated than it needs to be. Senator Hawley on KCMO Talk Radio. And that is, by the way, a unique and rare approach for a senator to say we don't want to make tweaks to a House bill, because it seems like the egos in the Senate say there's no House bill that's good enough for us. We've got to change it and make it better for our end of the, legislative body, right? That's how this usually goes?
Well, the problem now is there's too many people who are getting too many little goodies in there. And my view is this: on the major contours of this bill, the president's working class tax cuts, no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime. That was strong coming out of the House. On the Medicaid provisions, those were pretty darn good coming out of the House. I think we would do well in the Senate to say, okay, the president negotiated those things. If you need to tweak it, that's fine, but let's not rewrite whole provisions of it at this late hour and then create new problems. Let's get this thing done.
All right. Well, Senator Hawley, we do appreciate the time as always. We'll be watching what happens with that Senate in the next couple of days, and we always appreciate you hopping on KCMO.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Josh Hawley, well done as always on 95.7 FM. Good to get his thoughts on the men and women down at Whiteman and what they pulled off last week on Saturday night with the Iranian nuclear attacks.